I'm pretty sure everyone knows about Beyond and its stumps to fire of a fanbase back when it was called Goanimate, a barrage of parody videos where certain cartoon characters, mostly Gale or Dora, would get grounded for doing comically immoral things rose into popularity, beginning a competition with other early brain rot content on YouTube such as SML, SMG4, Gmod, TF2, Star Wars, even Nautero shows. Unlike some people, who usually find these types of videos annoying, Goanimate content holds a special place in my heart, and I have a playlist with 78 of these videos in it. But one day, while mindlessly watching YouTube, I found a video in my recommended tab that sparked concern and interest within me. It was simply titled Judgment, and the thumbnail presented what seemed to be a typical Goanimate animation. Stricken with curiosity, I decided to click on the video and watch it. The uploader's username was Goanimate, and the video itself was posted yesterday. I don't fully remember the premise of Judgment, so I'll try to recite what happened as accurately as possible. The video started with Kale in his bedroom, his back turned to the camera as he slept. When he got up, he kept his head down the entire time, his face not shown. He got out of bed, outside his room, and then outside the house. We stay on this shot of the door, until the screen cuts to black. It comes back, and the sky is slightly darker, signifying time has passed. Gale walks back inside of the house. The next scene shows him standing in the living room. Boris, his father, storms over to him with a stern expression, and speaks. Kale, I looked on the news today and it said. Suddenly, in place of actual words, all I got was a sudden blaring bit-crushed noise in place of whatever Boris was saying. ... Did you have anything to do with this? Boris continued. Instead of Kale crying via TTS, he doesn't respond. This causes Boris to realize that there is something wrong with his son. His expression changes from stern to confused. ... Kale, aren't you going to answer me? It was at this very moment that everything changed from the traditional Goanimate style. Gale's head turns up for the first time in the entire animation, with a snap, like somebody cracking their joints. He lacked a face. The only part of him that actually had any ounce of expression was one lone eyebrow, but it didn't once move. Thing is, none of these animations were the preset ones Goanimate had. Unlike Boris, Gale was actually animated from scratch. Boris is staring, mouth agape, with a terrified expression on his face. You can hear him struggling to get any words out. Why broken bar. You broken bar. Gale spoke for the first time in the animation. His voice was not text to speech, but a low-quality recording of an actual person speaking. What? Scared to not be the one in control anymore? Well, there's more where that came from. Gale snaps his fingers and the screen slams to black. We fade into Boris waking up, floating on his back through a river of black oil, or ink, some black substance. When his eyes open, he immediately grasps the horror of his predicament, darting around as he bobbed back and forth in the water slightly, to indicate he was floating. Then something sounds in the distance. In a sing-songy tone, that voice from before rings out. I'm right Deward. Boris turns around to find his deformed, faceless son. The's a broken bar thing, whatever you'd call it, begins laughing. Not even an explicitly scary laugh, either. It started small, a little chuckle, a snicker. Then it got louder and louder and louder, up until he was cackling. He holds his head in his hands, and moves them to his eyes, as if he was weeping. What happened next was the most memorable part of this video for me. He began moving his hands. As he did this, you could hear squelching, and the sound of rubber being pulled. Fleshy, juicy noises coming from whatever he was doing to himself. Then he looked up. Gale now has a malformed, grotesque human face. An enormous, toothy grin with completely pitch-black voids where eyes should be. A singular oversized ear was in the corner of his face. His arms appear split open to reveal two new fleshy arms underneath, with malformed hands and fingers. His abdomen has also been ripped open to display a cavernous mouth within his stomach cavity. What are you? What have you done with my son? The last bit of the sentence was bass boosted, in order to make it seem as though Boris was yelling. Son, what's gotten into your head, old man? Gale trudges over to Boris. The latter spoke haltingly. Get away from me, you demon. What's wrong? You don't recognize your own spawn, Boris? What a pity. I think I owe you an explanation, don't I? He begins monologuing while Boris trembles in fear. I'm not some demon, entity, whatever. It's just me, Kaelu. I was always well, no, not always, number. I wasn't like this from the start. I was actually filled with joy, but you dwindled that spark of joy, of creativity, of wonder, simply because you never, ever sat and listened, and whenever I tried to get your attention in any small way, you lashed out, because I was distracting you, or whatever, distracting you from being a subhuman fuck. I guess, I've been like this for most of my life. Because of you. You shaped me into this, and never saw it until now, oddly. And you had the gall to even say I was your son just now, like you were my father. What are you talking about? You're no father of mine. Take a look at what you did. You took everything that I ever cared for and threw it in the sand, all because I misbehaved once in a blue moon. Yes, I burned down buildings. Yes, I murdered many innocent people, but I've done it because you never gave two shits about me or Rosie. Every single heinous action I've committed was to distract myself from my harsh reality that you created. As Gale delivers his soliloquy, characters that appear in various Goanimate videos come up from underneath the surface of the fluid behind him, beginning with classic Kaelu, then Dora, then Rosie, then Little Bill, and so on. All of their faces are covered by stained marble masks, most of them frowning, some angered, some scared, some saddened. You should be ashamed of yourself at this point, yet you never listen to me. All you do is break me apart, and then put me back together, over and over again. This is a never-ending cycle, and I want all of it to end. Starting with you, Boris utters to his child, what have you done? Gale points his finger at his father and responds, what you failed to stop. But don't worry, you can ride all you want, for a very long time. How long? Well, it's only a broken bar. Gale began to ceaselessly read out random numbers, completely monotone. Clips of his own text-to-speech were overlapping with itself, as if he were speaking with 1,000 of the same voice. The distorted characters then start swimming towards the defenseless Boris, as Gale slowly levitates into the sky, oil dripping off of him. Once they catch up to him, they pull him underneath. We get a shot of the fluid, none of them returning from the depths. Gale is still reading the numbers out. Everything cuts to black, as you could hear him finally finish his absurdly long run-on sentence. Years. For the rest of the video, white text was displayed on screen, reading love your neighbor as yourself. The Goanimate logo doesn't appear at the end. I felt a mixture of awe and distress. What the hell did I just watch? Was this an art project, or something menacing? I did some research on the matter, and I found out that the animation was apparently a vent made by its creator, who was dealing with abuse from his adoptive parents for a while. Because of this, he uploaded this video and subsequently left the internet for good. His channel was eventually deleted, rendering almost everything he made lost media. Everything that I saw begs the question, how much neglect, how much of being pushed around, and how much bending would it take for you to break?